Hey, what are the hidden costs when it comes time to sell your house? Today with Alan
and Betsy
from Coastal Virginia, we're going to talk about some of those hidden costs. Everybody knows when you go to sell your house that there are costs involved. Sometimes, depending on the agent you choose, they don't give you a net sheet. And the net sheet is what you really need because you really need to look at the bottom line. Now, I can tell people, I used to say, hey, it's 10% overall when you look at everything rolled in. And that's a ballpark number to estimate on. But you really want to find out what some of the costs are when you do it. So, first and foremost, there is an agent commission involved, right?
Yes. So when you say I'm listing my house for $900,000 and your payoff is 8, you don't get 100.
Yes. There is a cost of sale. The agent is critical to the process. We've talked on other videos about how you should choose your agent and whether the agents are worth their money or not. But there is a commission that's going to be involved. So
Yes,
you need
we
to
get paid.
always calculate that. We love you, but we're not free. So when you're looking at your net, that's the first thing you need to look at. Now, the next thing is there are closing costs. Every state is different. So this is critical. If you moved here from another state and you sold a house in California, you were in the Navy in San Diego, you sold that house, or you were in Florida and sold that house. Every state has different closing costs.
Yeah.
So here in Virginia, we've got, the taxes, we've got you have to bring things current, you have to, the title insurance, the title with the attorney, the research, there are closing costs associated with that. And one thing we need to make sure you know is you've got to factor those in, is put the closing cost into the transaction. Got jets today. Now, the next sound of freedom is most likely in today's market, the buyer is going to want a home inspection on your house. Now, the best way to have a good home inspection is to do the repairs up front based on what Betsy comes in to tell you. What are some of the common things they need to do up front?
Okay, so every inspector is going to hit you on those loose toilets. So please go ahead and tighten your toilet.
We've got one of those in our house.
I know we do.
Ahead.
I do. I know we do. So nobody's going to go do that loop on the back of that stove. Nobody puts the loop on there, so we ain't gonna worry about that. But,
right.
Clean the dust out of your dryer vents, those little things. But there's a lot of things. But if you know things ahead of time, please flipping do them though. I'm gonna walk the house and see the things that I notice. But if you know things, we're gonna do them.
If you haven't had a termite moisture contract on your house,
we do those automatically.
We are gonna get that up front because guess what? If the inspector finds them or if the WDR finds them, they come in pretty high and they scare the buyers, and we don't want scared buyers when they're buying your house. Mm-hmm. What we want to do is address all those up front so that we can say, hey, we just had a WDIR inspection. Here's what we're looking at. One of the other things that's critical right now, and this is because of insurance more than anything, is your roof.
It's over 15 years old in our market right now. Hard to get insurance, just so you know.
Hard to get insurance if you have a roof over 15 years old and they find any suspected.
We're getting a new roof, only 20 years old, and it's architectural shingles.
And we're about to put a new roof on our house because we're
selling.
So what you need to understand is that anything that the buyer finds, the home inspection, that's a hidden cost. So we typically in our net sheet will budget in a number so that we do that up front for things that come up on the repair. Now, you're going to have to move. Guess what? I know myself and Betsy, we're not packing and moving ourselves. We are way past that.
On the move. We got Briar.
Yes. We have a great moving company that he's phenomenal and gives you price. But no matter who you use, you have to budget for your moving costs. And there's these hidden costs. Do things automatically just end up in boxes? No, you got to buy boxes, you got to buy tape. All of these things come into play when you are moving. Then when you do move, guess what? All of a sudden, you've got other little things. You got paint touch-ups and fill in holes. And there are things that come into play when you move from your home that you've got to take into account. Now, one of the other things, and people are scared about this sometimes, is I don't want to be homeless. If I sell my house here and I'm buying a house here, how do I make those line up? Or there is going to be a cost. If you rent back your house, most likely, if we have a buyer that allows you to stay in your house, guess what you're going to have to pay? You're going to have to pay a daily rent to live in the house because you've already closed, because you need to close on it first to close on this one.
We also have a program for that, though, if you're using our lovely lender,
Yes.
so that we can do buy now, sell later, so that you don't have to be contingent. So that's another thing that you can ask us about, so that we can save you from the headache of having to be contingent today.
Yes. So all of these costs are hidden costs that show up in the net sheet. And guess what? You have to pay off your mortgage. And if you did some not so intelligent things like put solar panels on your house, guess what?
Don't put solar on your house.
But if you did, you have to pay off those solar panels, I'd say at least 90% of the time. 10% you might make it assumable and the buyer's willing to bring them on and bring on that cost. The majority of the time, they are not going to do it. And then one other thing, that hidden cost. If you are in a homeowners association or a condo association and there has been an assessment put on your association, more than likely, a buyer is going to ask you to cover that assessment prior to closing on the house. We just had that this week. And this was a tricky one because the house was listed, the house was sold, going to closing on July 18th. And on July 14th, the owner association voted, put an $11,000 assessment on that house that was not disclosed to the buyers because it didn't exist when they wrote the contract. And now we are in a tough position because the buyers want the sellers to pay the $11,000. Understandable. If we had buyers, we would be too. But the assessment is actually not due till January 1. So the sellers are going to be long gone before the assessment's due. Is that a battle? Yes. If you are aware of an assessment, you have to tell your agent up front so that we can put that into the whole negotiating, and it's going to come out of your net. So those are just a few of the hidden costs associated with selling a house. Sometimes there can be more, but those are the primary ones. Your mortgage, your second mortgage that you bought the boat with that you never go to, that, you know, the best day with your boat's the day you buy it and the day you sell it. So, but if all these things that are there have to come into play. So what this really means is when you list your house, make sure you have a professional agent that gives you a net sheet like we do every time so that you can see the bottom line. Yes. So until next time, it's Alan
and Betsy.
See you soon.